Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll see how we can use AI agents for QA automation. Let's say we'll be using two different multi-AI agentic architectures. One is very popular for building AI agents, AGNO. It says it's a lightweight library for building multimodal agents. And one other agentic framework we'll be using browser use so that we can control browser instance through AI agent. Even uh, both agentic frameworks are pretty good in the market and having 19K stars for AGNO and 35K for browser use. Let's say today we'll be combining both these agentic frameworks in order to get QA automation. Basically, there is a simple diagram. I'll just explain you. Uh, for example, imagine an automation tester will be getting some user story from a developer team. Based on this user story, automation tester will try to generate Gherkin BDD scenarios, correct? In that case, I'll be using AGNO agent who can take input as a user story and converts into Gherkin scenarios. This is the step for first agent, and we'll make use of browser use agent, which can take all these Gherkin scenarios and execute each scenario one by one in a browser instance and capture the DOM details for every execution. Once these two agents are done, we'll be using third agent, similar to AGNO agent, which can take output of first agent and the second agent and can convert that into production ready automation code. This is what the simple workflow what we'll be diving today. By the way, if you are not aware of Vegini, we offer custom solutions for QA automation. Just check out vegini.tech and please support us in a product hunt uploading. And let me dive into the code base to show you how actually it works. Before that, we just need to understand uh, what are the challenges in QA automation. Let's say there will be some business requirement which will be released in Jira user story. Writing Gherkin scenarios and implementing automated tests is uh, so time consuming, and identifying DOM details for sometimes for larger web applications or websites, it will be so difficult to go navigate and scrape the XPath for each and every element. And it maybe for that instance, there will be some maintenance burden as well in order to update the automation codes, which will break for every UI changes. But these are all the main gaps, and what we'll be covering today, we'll be creating an QA agent which can convert user stories to Gherkin. Let's say this is the simple user story. As a user, I just wanted to log in my account with correct credentials. The QA agent will then convert that into some Gherkin scenarios, and then browser agent which can take these Gherkin scenarios and execute them in a browser and capture the DOM details. And the third agent which can create production ready automation code by taking the information from first agent and the second agent. And inside multi-agentic framework, what I will be using, the flow actually goes like this. At user point of view, user gives an input, QA analysis agent will generate Gherkin specifications. Browser agent will execute those steps in browser. While executing them, we will be capturing the DOM details, including XPath, state, and its properties. And test execution or visualization, anyhow, you will be running it in headless mode so that you can view the browser. And the code generation, this is something really cool. Earlier it was just a PyTest BDD, but now it can support various types of frameworks. And the technology stack behind this, we'll be using Streamlit as a front end. And uh, I'm not sure who are up to me, but I really love Google's Gemini models because you can use them for free with huge context window. So in today's video, we'll be using Google's Gemini 2.0 Flash model in order to automate the task or the flow what we are thinking about. And the AGNO agent and the browser use agentic frameworks, just I showed you here. Uh, when it comes to benefits, I'm not sure because I just worked as an automation engineer for 1 year. Maybe the real pain points come from the industry standpoint. You can reduce time to test up to 90% because all the work has been doing by AI. Enhanced coverage, maybe the Gherkin scenarios you might miss some edge cases, but AI will also cover those edge cases so that it is super easy and low maintenance. Detailed element mapping uh, is sometimes more important when you consider not just XPath. You will be getting the all the attribute values like ID, CSS selectors, and much more things. And the skill gap. For example, take manual test engineers are working for a long periods of time in the industry, but nowadays industry is telling them to work on some automation framework tools like Selenium, Java, Eclipse, and Python, PyTest BDD, or maybe RPA, robot process automation like UiPath. Like people are converting from no code to low code solutions. The future, we'll discuss in the last, once we see the capabilities of these agentic frameworks. Let's jump into the code base. As I told you, like we'll be using Google's Gemini API key, and our first task is to have a QA agent which can convert user stories into Gherkin scenarios. For that, I'll show you the prompt how I was defining. It will take an user story, it will convert that into proper Gherkin syntax scenarios. The prompting, I have not done the prompting very well because I just in a hurry to release this particular tool. This is the first agent, and the second agent, which takes information from a browser agent and converts that into automation script. Right? Let me show you one example. Uh, Generate Selenium PyTest BDD. Let's say the feature name comes from the first agent and we are mapping them and extract model actions. The model actions are being extracted. uh, I'll show you everything in detail. uh, just high level overview. This agent can create a single Python file in PyTest BDD format using all this information which is given by browser agent, and it will convert that into some PyTest BDD format code in our particular requirement. Enough talking. Let's run the code and see the interface how it works. As I told you, we are running the Streamlit in the front end. No worries. The entire code base is free and open source. You can just check out Vgenie and SDetGenie. You will be redirecting to this GitHub repository. Just please support me, give it stars, help me raise some PRs so that you can be a good collaborator in our community and help Vgenie grow with respect to QA automation. You can just check out our website here. They'll be offering customized framework solutions for businesses with respect to QA automation, and they have a lot bunch of features available that you can try it out for free. Okay, the first step is to get a user story. Let's first take a simple user story. As a user, I want to log in into. Let's say login into what? log in into Swag Labs. Maybe this is the popular testing website most of the people use. But we'll also see how we can use this for larger websites. Okay, I'll be removing this because I'll be using this. Okay, let's go back. Enter the URL. See here, as a user, I want to log in into Source Lab demo. Just click on generate Gherkin. You'll be getting a detailed Gherkin scenarios for this user story. We have bunch of Gherkin scenarios. We have smoke, we have negative, we have edge case as well. Right now, just click on execute steps. Browser agent will take all these scenarios and execute one by one in a real-time browser instance. Let's wait for that. And you can watch a demo video of our Vagini, which is available here, and what we offer, our vision, our mission, and how it works. And this is the workflow what we are doing right now. This is completely open source. Make sure to support us. Now it opened a Chromium browser instance. Let's see how it follows the Gherkin scenarios step by step, and I'll also show you the debug actions from browser agent. This is completely like you can observe what elements is clicked on and what is the DOM history for that particular element. You can see every execution debug in debug mode. The happy path is completed, like successful username and successful password, and now it has to enter invalid. After that, there are five scenarios which is given by agent. Let's see how it goes. The first scenario is completed. Uh, Sorry for the background noise. My dogs are so crazy. They'll not allow anybody to cross into my home. It goes to the second scenario, invalid user, and a password. Meantime, let's debug. For the first step, it has given you some debug model actions, right? Let's debug. It was in this particular URL. uh, it was trying to get the XPath of that because the first thing is to navigate through the URL, so there is no interactive elements. The second thing is that it was trying to identify the input text box to enter standard user, and it has given us some interactive elements here. For every step it has taken, it has given you the debug actions for the first scenario, and similarly it will start for the second scenario as well. This is the debug model action for second scenario. And this is the third scenario which is running. We'll be getting debug model actions for the third scenario as well, where we are trying to capture the interactive elements DOM details so that it will be easy for the third agent to write automation scripts. The third scenario is also completed. It has given you the details, success, true. Working on fourth scenario. When I first developed this tool, I was super crazy about how things are going well. Maybe in future, imagine the entire workforce can be automated. Like we can enhance this tool, adding agents in the workflow. Like uh, you get an automation script, go take this automation script and update my code base. Agent can do that. Or maybe self-healing of automation scripts can be also be possible. Like I was working on it. Join hands to make this tool more robust. For every scenario it executes, it gives you a detailed debug model action so that you can verify at any point of time what element it's clicked on, what is the element type, whether it's an clickable element or the text box or everything. See, for 5 scenarios, it has given you 5 debug model actions, and it says test execution completed. Now comes under results, you will be having the status successfully logged in with username and password, and you will be having that XPath and details. It says execution completed. Similarly, for second, third, fourth, and 5 scenarios, it tells us execution completed successfully. Now go to the actions. Here you can see all the actions performed by agent. Go to the URL, get XPath of the element index 0, input text. You'll be seeing all the details where browser agent is getting executed. It has done 42 steps in order to complete a simple scenario. Uh, Elements will be getting the XPath details and the detailed extracted content. Every time when it goes, it gives you some extracted content. You can find it here. It is not well structured. We can work on that. And we'll just click on generate code where the third agent jumps into the picture and generates automation code. So you will be getting a feature file with all the 5 scenarios which we got earlier. For this feature file, we will be getting, since I have been Selenium PyTest VDD, I'll be getting some PyTest automation code. This is the automation code for all the 5 scenarios which we just executed. Let's copy this. I just wanted to test it from my code base, but you can also generate Playwright, Python, Cypress, JavaScript, Robot Framework, Selenium plus Cucumber, Java as well. For now, let's take this. I have some dummy code here. I'll remove it. I'll paste the code which is just generated. I'll create a separate PowerShell for this. Create a virtual environment, and now I will try to run. After a small debug session with install commands, now it's completed. Let me run this test code, which has basically when you run pytest bdd, you have to maintain a pytest.ini file and a dot feature file. Once you have this basic setup done, this will execute. The first scenario has been executed. The second scenario, it's running now. Invalid, executed, passed success. It ran the third scenario with wrong password. Valid password, it's success. It has to run the fourth scenario now. Then it was success. It has to run the final scenario now, the edge case. It failed. Because what I have observed is that in order to get a production ready automation code, we need to actually identify the necessary steps at like necessary steps before going into the production. This is just a template where I was generating single page automation code, but when it comes to production level, each file will be having each different steps. Like we'll be having page object models, we'll be having a time wait, time slip, executing in different process setup, login details separately. There will be multiple files in order to generate complete regression automation test scripts. This is just an example that we can do it by AI agents. To refine it, there is a lot much to refine. Like every automation framework is having its own default template. But uh, when you see my prompts, I was defining very less number of instructions. Let's say requirements. This file should include all necessary imports for Selenium and PyTest BDD, include Gherkin scenarios, and top of the file create step definitions for each step, include proper weight strategies. See, in order to get a complete automation code, a production grade automation code, you need to uh, tell model what exactly you are looking for, which format you want, what are the you need to define the instructions very clear so that model can able to generate it, and that comes under purely business use case, and Vagini can help you to solve that. Now let's see, since we have executed one thing, and for now I was just thinking, can we try it for larger use case like some e-commerce application? Let's take use of ChatGPT here. Here, I have asked ChatGPT to give me a detailed user story that looks like a Jira user story. It's nothing but navigate navigate to this website, find, click on shop, click on dry fruits, find this particular product, cashew or kaju, and add this product to cart. If is added, if it's added, delete the cart. This is how the use case was. Yeah, by the way, here is the user story. Add and remove cashew from cart. Title: add cashews from cart and remove from cart. Description: as a user, I wanted to browse the cashew food, conscious food website and cashews to my cart, update the quantity, and then remove the product from my cart so that I can manage my shopping preferences. And there are a few points for acceptance criteria. Uh, you access this website shop section and select dry fruits, cut, add this product quantity by 2, access the cart page, remove the cashews, update the state of the product, and it goes for medium and status is to do. Let's take this user story, go to our website, paste it, enhance it. In this particular user story, we are not mentioning the website URL anywhere. We are leaving that to web agent, which website to navigate to. So that is the beauty of this. Let's generate a Gherkin scenarios first for this user story. Gherkin scenarios are generated. Add and remove cashews from cart. As a user, I wanted to browse the website. Cart, cashews positive, negative scenario. Add cashews to cart and remove successfully. Attempt to remove non-existing item from the cart. Add and increase quantity of cashews to maximize allowed and verify. Attempt to add negative quantity of cashews to the cart. Add cashews, increase quality to max, quantity to max, remove one, and then remove all. This is how the Gherkin scenarios are generated. Maybe we can customize it through a prompt in the style you want. But for now, let's stick with it. Let's execute one scenario, and then I'll stop this execution because the same process works for every action. I just wanted to show you how effectively this can handle complex e-commerce websites. It has to click on shop and navigate through dry fruits and then find out that particular web. Let's wait. If you want a complete demo, I have uploaded that in Vegini YouTube channel. Please support us so that we can grow. We are building AI agents for QA automation. Uh, I hope everybody supports our company. It has clicked on shop. Now it has to click on dry fruits. It has navigated to dry fruits. Now it has to identify the cashews and add this product to cart. It has added one product to cart here. We can see in the cart by two. Then I should. Okay, it has to be three then. Not quantity with three. Okay, it had added one more and two other more. Cart is added to three. Now it has to remove that from cart. Not sure. It has added one more. Okay, in the cart with quantity three, it has to delete the cart. It has done the execution for first scenario. Similarly, it goes for every scenario. It runs scenario by scenario and gives you a detailed uh, DOM debug model actions. See, I haven't specified the URL that the model is capable of generate. Going to the perfect URL, it gives you the interactive elements and number of clicks it has performed for one uh, scenario to be completed. Total 16 clicks it has been taken to generate the first scenario. Similarly, it works for other scenarios as well. I'll stop this index, this code for now. I just wanted to walk you through the code base so that you can easily understand what we are doing. Uh, there is an app.py file where you can directly run streamlit.yap.py. It will open it. But let me go through the SRC first. See, here it starts. We have three columns: generate Gherkin, execute steps, generate code. For generate button, it has to go and execute this generate Gherkin scenario using QA agent.run. Right? Uh, Go to agents. You will find QA agent. Here it was we are using Gemini 2.0 Flash. For now, maybe in future we'll be adding much more model integration so that you can use any model you want. And go to prompt AGNO underscore prompts, and we are using this generate Gherkin scenario to generate Gherkin steps from user story, right? Uh, Navigate to the app. And when there is an execute button, we are calling the browser agent, which which takes all the Gherkin scenarios which is generated, uh, splits by scenario wise. Then it gets all of them, all of the scenarios. It executes the browser agent, generate a browser task. I'll show you the browser task. It was there in browser prompts. Browser prompts generate browser task. It was so simple. Execute the following Gherkin scenarios with comprehensive logging and detailed actions for each interactive element, and get the XPath of each index and capture element selectors and properties and state during execution. You can enhance this prompt in a way you want. And we are having some custom controllers where you can find those controllers in utils. Basically what this controllers does, it gives you XPath of an element, it gives you element property, it gives you perform element actions, extract selectors from history. We can also analyze the actions so that we can use them. uh, Controller is nothing but browser is offering custom defined functions so that you can define your own function to get control of browser agent work. And once browser agent is completed, it gives you a detailed information that we have seen, like in debug mode we have that content, interactive elements we have that content, and all this stuff we have. Yeah, and we are supporting when it comes to generate code button. We have a generate function which will be using different frameworks, like we have PyTest BDD, Cypress JavaScript, Robot Framework, Java, Selenium Cucumber. Maybe it can be enhanced a lot more based on the use case we are dealing with. And at the end, you can also download the code which is generated. This is so simple, straightforward, but you can also adjust the prompts. You can add more and more agents in order to get a perfect automation code in the output. You can also customize these controller functions in the way you want. Like if you want the relative XPath, you can add a custom function which can identify and scrape the relative XPath or CSS selectors, whatever it might be, identifying the functions and reusing them in order to generate automation code. That's what the whole progress we are up to. And here you go. Like it is under some license. You can use it for personal or educational use. Is allowed. Code modifications is permitted. Copyright and license notice must be preserved. Source code must be disclosed with distributing. Changes must be released under the same license. No commercial use without explicit permission. No warranty provided. Just land upon our GitHub. Help us grow this community. Every detailed thing is been added in the readme. You can easily set up, like you need playwright to install to run chromium. Git clone the repository, go to this directory, add a virtual environment, or it's python you can use direct, or if you are using conda, make sure you're having a conda environment. Install the requirements .txt, create a .env file and place your Google API key inside it, streamlit run app.py, you are all set. Okay. Thank you for the huge support I was getting. Maybe in future we'll be dealing with self-healing of automation scripts as well. Uh, let's do our best.